Guys, what's going on? It's KP back with another episode of the KP Podcast. This is the podcast where we get to know some of your favorite bands just a little bit more. Maybe you've heard about these bands, maybe you haven't, maybe you're discovering some of these bands along the way, and that's kind of the point of the show. We're getting to know these bands a little bit more on a personal level. And today we got two guys, very nice guys so far. We've been dealing with some phone issues, and they've been super cool about it the entire time. So I'm really pleased to announce to have Joey Lucarine and Sean Creedon from the band Being Still. How you guys doing today?
Good. How are you, man?
Not bad. COVID's been kind of hectic. I'll be honest. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have different jobs, like in retail or anything like that. But man, do I love hearing about why people don't have to wear a mask and why I'm infringing on people's rights. Me, personally, I am infringing on their rights as to why I am making them wear a mask. But that could be a whole episode on its own. That's not what this is about. Hope you guys are being safe out there. Hope everyone's nice and happy. Who all is in Being Still, and where are you guys from?
Well,
it's just the two of us.
Oh, just the two of you. Okay, here we are. Yeah. This is it. Okay, where are you guys from?
I'm from the Atlantic City area in New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm currently in Baltimore, but we're based pretty much out of the Jersey Shore. That's where we do all of our recording and.
Now, has it always been? Has it always been you two just doing it on your own, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, for what, over 10 years now? Something like that.
10 years.
God.
Wow. I was just bragging about my 8 years in radio, but here you are, 10 years in this band. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so what do you each do in the band? We'll start with Joey, and then we'll go to Sean.
I play drums, I sing, and I scream.
And then I do pretty much the rest of it. I do the guitars, the bass. If there's synth on the songs, I'll throw that in there too. Little bit. I think we're working a little bit more with my vocals in for the next EP, but I also do some singing and screaming here and there.
Now, you said this was about 10 years old kind of thing. How did the band really begin? How did you two meet? How did the music become the Be kind of thing?
Well, so I used to be in a band called Kill the Kid. It was like a pop punk band in high school.
Okay.
And one night we had a party at my apartment, like right after we graduated, and Sean approached me, and he was just like, "Hey man, I love playing music. I want to know." He basically interviewed me. It was really cool. It was a really cool experience at the time. I'd never been interviewed before. I was just some dumb high school kid that was like, "Yeah, I'm in a band."
Right.
And he came up asking me all these questions, and eventually I asked him, "Hey, I know that you play guitar. Would you want to come to the studio with me one day? I'm recording a song," and it just took off from there.
So, what about releases? I mean, take me back to 10 years ago. How did you guys start recording? Did you go somewhere else? How did song structures kind of start?
You want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. It's in the beginning, it was a lot of, the music was very different back then. We were doing mostly metalcore, Bring Me the Horizon style metalcore. So we were doing a lot different from what we were doing now. And we weren't really sure what we were doing. Joey had never really written a metal song. I had never really written a metal song. And so we were kind of just smashing ideas together and seeing what worked. And we would record them because we didn't really have a place to practice together because we both lived in tiny apartments. And then it just grew from there. We kept recording more and more songs, only one or two of which we ever actually ended up releasing out to show other people. Most of it was just practice and getting a feel for what it is to record and try and make something professional and being in that environment. And so eventually when we came to a sound that we were really happy with, that's when we started buckling down and figuring out what songs we wanted to write and what kind, and getting all of our best ideas together and throwing it onto an EP.
I feel like that's how a lot of bands kind of do their thing. I have this weird mentality where a band really doesn't become a band until their third official release. And I don't know why, but all these big bands I've been listening to for years and years and years, once their third release comes around, every release after that sounds like their third release. First release, no one's heard of them.
Yeah.
You got to put something out. Second release, okay, does this sound like the first one? No, kind of hate it. Third one, all right, a little bit of blend of both. Now we're getting into some different stuff. That's where bands start evolving. I also see where bands put some music out and then lineup changes happen and they change the band completely, but it's still the same band, but they just do a different direction, whatever. So I feel like this is the kind of stuff we see, and I love hearing about how bands do get started because each band does have its own unique thing. You guys met at a party, went from there, took a few releases to kind of get your footing where you wanted it to be and kind of get the music where you wanted it to go. And now here you are.
Yeah, no, it was a fun process. I really, I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. He's become my musical soulmate.
Yeah, we were very blessed to find each other. We understand, someone brings up an idea or, says like, oh, I love this song. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I love that song too. And also, can we curse?
Yeah. You're
Is
good.
that cool?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. But yeah, no, someone says something and we're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, let's do that. Or, I know what you're saying, but I don't think it's going to work. Let's try this thing instead. And we just bounce off of each other really well, way better than any other musician that I've worked with so far. Like, I just know that when I tell him something, he's going to get what I mean, and we don't have to walk in circles for half an hour trying to figure out what each other wants.
100%.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be musical. It could be we're in a weird situation with these other people.
Yeah.
I have this thing with my friends, and I also have this thing with my work friends, where something happens and we just look at each other and we know exactly what we're thinking. Does that happen with you guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the moment when you both get into the car and you just sit there and no one has to say anything, but everything has just been said.
Yes.
Like that, we've had that moment a lot.
Yes. Okay. So it's not just me. Great. And you guys have probably had to force yourselves to learn how to record and get better at recording and the ins and outs of recording, right?
Yeah,
well,
it's terrifying.
It is terrifying. COVID
Yeah.
made me learn how to do it because, what else am I going to do? And Joey Sturgis, Joey Sturgis is a brilliant guy, so I've been just learning off him. So if you guys are looking for something to do, look up Joey Sturgis YouTube stuff and get lost in hours and hours of that stuff.
I think I've actually spoken to him over Instagram a time or two. He seems like a really nice guy. He's like a really well-known producer, correct?
Yeah, the Stand Up and Scream from Asking Alexandria just turned 11 years old, and that's the album he has hanging up on his wall that has gone, I'm probably going to be wrong, but platinum, gold, millions of album sales, whatever. So yeah, he definitely, every metalcore band, I'm going to say ever, has recorded with this guy.
Yeah.
Damn.
So.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, and you can't believe how fast years fly by because I saw that post and I was like, 11 years already? I remember straightening my hair. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So what was the writing and recording process like for your newest release, Scattered Out of Focus Lights? Again, you have 10 years of experience now. You guys are getting to know each other more and more and more. And as of right now, this is the only release I'm seeing on Spotify. You said you've had other stuff before, but didn't really release it. What's special about this one?
It really is just the perfect situation of everything that we want to be, if that makes sense. It just, everything came together and we found our sound and we know the direction that we want to go in. And yeah, it is our first release, because at first we were a metal band or a metalcore band, and it just wasn't fitting like a glove like this does. And we're both just very happy with this sound. And even though it has been 10 years, we have so much built up that we have, that we're about to release. We're going to be jumping in the studio for our second EP soon. Or we're actually in the middle of recording our second EP, but we're going to be in the studio soon, later on in the next few weeks. And it just came together. It's something I can't really explain.
Yeah, it was a very organic kind of thing. We kept trying different sounds and different styles of music and changing our band name and thinking about other things that we could do and what we could be. And then eventually, I think Let the Right One In was the song that we were like, okay, wait, hold on. I think we have something. This feels like the right path. And then from there, I had a bunch of guitar parts saved on my computer, and so I started, expanding on those, turning them into songs. That turned into Murder in Baltimore, and then soon we had like an intro and an outro, and
Yes.
3 other songs. And
that's what I like to hear. That's good stuff. It definitely sounds good too. And you gotta.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. I always listen to all the bands. That come my way. I have to, just to kind of know who I'm talking to and stuff. But in general, I like just listening to new music. I don't know if you guys are super heavy on Spotify or not, but they have this thing called Release Radar that comes out every Friday.
Oh yeah.
And I am on that thing every Friday at 12 a.m. to see what just came out. But what do you guys?
I love that.
It's so cool, and like to think 10 years ago we were streaming off like MySpace and LimeWire and all those old streaming.
The access is just so much better. Like you don't have to worry about inspecting your computer. You don't have to deal with like crappy audio files.
Oh yeah.
Like you just, it's all right there. You can get it right when you want it. And like as much as I miss having my, several dozen gig, MP3 collection, like it's the convenience is really hard to beat. Like it's, I miss that. I miss my iPod some days, but it's nice having the streaming service when I want it.
For sure. And this is my last off the rails question here. Since we're talking about old stuff, do you remember the Microsoft Zune at all?
Yeah,
I had one.
Excellent.
I had one. I was that kid.
I thought me and my neighbor Todd were the only ones in the United States that bought this thing, because anytime I bring it up to anyone, they're like, "What are you talking about? Microsoft Zune? Yeah. You mean Zoom, like the Zoom meetings? No, that's what I'm talking about." Okay,
yeah, Camilo had one too, Sean.
Yeah, I loved it. Like, I'm not even going to bullshit.
Honestly,
I loved that.
It was
thing.
great.
I thought it was great. It was a great device. I think it was maybe ahead of its time. I think it came out the wrong time, and everyone knew the iPod, so that was obviously had the market. But I got mine as a Christmas gift. I had no idea what it was, but it's like the interface was so smooth. I loved it.
Oh yeah,
I liked it a lot better than the click wheel. But
yeah,
I don't know. That's
whenever
a whole other story.
Yeah, whenever you're bored, look on eBay for some listings. You'll see some that you wish you would have saved yours, because you can get some good cash out of this thing. God. So you were talking about this second EP coming up. What is there anything different between this one and the one that just came out? Any writing differences? Any recording differences? Anything at all?
Well, we only know how to write sad songs, so that's going to stay the same.
Yes. Good. Okay.
Recording differences, we're in a totally different studio. Half of our first EP was produced in this studio, but the other half was produced in a studio called the Jam Room Music Complex in Howell, New Jersey.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful studio, but we moved to a different place because we needed a different engineer. Our last guy was going through some health problems, and unfortunately, I don't think he came back to engineering.
I gotcha.
But differences, I would say there's a little bit more funk on this second EP. There's going to be some acoustic songs too.
Yeah, it's a lot more mature, I think, because most of the first EP was written, like, at least for my parts, written when I thought I knew everything back in high school, and I thought I understood the world, right? And so a lot of it was like my attempt at like the magnum opus. But now, like, with the second EP, and I've listened to a lot more different kinds of music, and that's influenced me in a lot of different ways. And I think we're kind of, I think I said, like, talking to someone else, we're like kind of standing off the rough bits a little bit, and it's becoming a lot more streamlined, especially now that we're keeping everything in the same studio with the same guy who we've known for a while now. So hopefully that comes through on the production as well.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you guys are going in the direction you definitely want to go, and your foot is all the way down to the floor on this gas pedal, and you're just killing it on this stuff. So pumped to hear this second release. So if you want to drop me a demo sometime, go ahead. Otherwise, it's okay. Anything you guys want to say to any fans out there listening?
Oh yeah, we love you. Like, I've had a few people now come up to me. Well, not come up to me, but they've sent me messages on like Instagram and other social media platforms, and they've told me that they would get our logo tattooed and stuff like that, and that just blows my mind.
That's got to be a crazy good feeling.
Yeah, it really is. And, like, honestly, I love those people. Even if you don't want to get it tattooed, like, if you just love our music, that makes me love you, because this is all I do all day, every day, and it's really nice to have someone appreciate it.
Okay, excellent. Joey, Sean, thank you for hanging out on the show today. I'm going to be talking to you here in a little bit off air. Again, I appreciate you guys reaching out and going through with this, with all the problems we had earlier, but, sometimes that happens. So
Yeah, no problem.
I'm going to talk to you guys here in a little bit, okay?
No problem.
Yeah, sure.
All right, thanks, guys. That's Joey and Sean from the band Being Still. You guys got to check these guys out. They got something on Spotify right now. It's called Scattered Out of Focus Lights. It's got a few songs on there. It's got 6 songs. Check them out. They got Facebook. They got Insta. They got all that good stuff. So check them out when you can. And thank you guys for checking out this episode of the KP Podcast. Appreciate you guys as always. We'll see you next time.